Hi guys, and welcome back to the long-awaited episode of the Arsenal edition of the 433 podcast. I'm joined again by our usual co-host, AP. How's it going, man?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, rather good, rather good. Have you come to terms with since I guess since we've done our last episode, quite a fair bit has happened. I know, I guess
It's,
real life has got in the way a bit, but we have been watching all the games, and it's been quite a great time to be an Arsenal fan.
mate, it really is. I mean, some unbelievable things have happened. I know people are going to say we're getting a bit overexcited, but you can't blame us right now.
Yeah, there was
Just can't.
something. The Liverpool one that was a bit different because it was so packed to the wall, and it was like the league's a bit dead for us now. But yeah, that City game, it's one of those things that you only understand when those special moments come around when you're supporting whatever football team it is that you do support. You know what we mean when we're saying it. That was just a ridiculously special night.
For real. Just imagine what it'd have been like with fans in that stadium.
I know, I
Oof,
know. It is a bit of a
oof.
shame, but we can't complain too much about that when like I'm looking at all those clubs at the moment who've been winning their like playoff finals and stuff, and it's just them like dancing around with a bottle of champagne in an empty Wembley. I was like, oh god, that's pretty
Yeah, it's
rough. But yeah, no, ridiculous time. I guess we'll look back into the past, which is pretty much yeah, first day of the month, which
oh,
was a pretty nice, easy win, I'd say, against Norwich. I think that was a win we needed because it's been a bit up and down leading up to that.
win we needed, a win you would like to say you expected.
Mm.
Wasn't that the first game back at the Emirates as well after the
Yeah, it
lockdown?
was. We'd done what, three on the bounce away, or was it
Yeah.
four? I think
Oh,
it was three. Yeah, it was
I
three.
think it was three. Yeah,
No,
that was the
Southampton.
fourth
We
game.
had played Southampton as well in there. Yeah, so we did four away games in a
Oh,
row,
okay. Yeah, it wasn't the first one.
and
Yeah,
then
for
leading up to this, yeah, Southampton game. It was ridiculous. I don't know how we were the only team that was in that situation. I don't really know what happened there.
yeah, yeah. I know it's just bad luck. What else can it be? Just one of those things.
Mm.
I
But
guess
yeah,
I guess on the inverse of that, we would have had a few extra home games before the lockdown. Um,
yeah, true, true.
which we didn't. We would have just taken for granted at that time. Obviously, we didn't think much of it.
But yeah, it was a pretty clinical performance. A couple of goals from Aubameyang as usual, because I think they were the first ones. Cause he was having a bit of a drought. There
He
was a rough
was. He
time for
was.
Odoba. Thankfully, that's yeah long in the past now. So yeah,
Oh,
that was a nice start. Um, and then the game that really did impress me was the Wolves one. That really gave a lot of a lot of not a lot of teams, a lot of the fans, quite a lot of hope. I think that was a really good away performance.
it was professional. It wasn't always pretty, but it was job done. Clean sheet at a stadium we've
Mm.
struggled to get any sort of points at against a set of very good players.
Not even
Very,
just
very good
us,
players.
like United. Well, a lot of the top six, they've been City. Like it's a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hard place to go.
I
Like,
mean, they're above. Where are they in the table? They're above us, that's
yeah,
for sure. I mean,
they're
half the
definitely
half the
above
table's
us.
above us, but
I think they
but
were like looking at Champions League potentially, but because of United's run of games against shocking teams, they've overtaken them. I think, but no, they've
yeah,
had a cracking season, and they
regardless, yeah, no, they've built well on last season as well. I mean, since they've come up,
mm,
they've been impressive, and for us in the situation we've been in and the season we've had and all the doom and gloom, it was actually a miracle. I'm not going to lie, it was a miracle. We were fearing the worst going into some of the games we've
oh
had in the
yeah,
last
I mean,
last
I
couple of
think
weeks,
in the
but
last episode, I don't know if I really mentioned it, but going into that run of games, I really wasn't convinced we'd win any of them.
no, honestly, like Norwich, I think the Norwich game was one which I was like, okay, we could win that. But then looking at the time, I wasn't too sure about Villa and Watford. But now, obviously, playing Villa today, if they lose and results go against them, they
Yeah,
could be
it's a bit
relegated.
of
The point
a
is,
questionable situation
yes,
for me because one of my
it's
best mates is a Villa fan, so I think
he is.
he's sent me a few threats if things don't go their way today. So I
That's
don't really
situation to
want
be in.
Villa to go down, but I feel like they've been very, very unlucky. But
Hey,
it's
look,
just how
I'm
it
gonna
goes,
be
isn't it?
a bit selfish here, and I'm already starting to look at some of their players.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe Arteta can grab a few of them and have a quick chat after the game.
Yeah, why not? Why
I
not?
definitely give Mings a look in, 100%. I think he's a
Yes,
good
yes.
player.
Given we definitely need help
Grealish is the
on
other
that part of
obvious
the
one,
pitch.
but
I mean, he's their best player. He's their talisman. He's their
mm,
captain, isn't he? Yeah,
yeah, he has been for quite a few years now. I just don't know. I just can't see us going in for him. It all depends what happens with the Ozil situation. I think he
surely.
could really fit in quite well as a creative midfielder for us, but it's what Arteta actually wants with the system, whether he'd actually fit in.
I mean, he's much more than just your like I say historical classical attacking midfielder like Ozil. I mean, I think there is more there. I don't want to say he's a better player, but I think he's definitely fits the modern game a lot more than Mesut Ozil does.
Oh yeah, he can
So it would
play.
be
He
nice.
can play
It would be
anywhere. Like he can do well, like deep in centre mid. He does. He's played a lot for them left wing, I think, this season.
yeah. I
But
was about
then
to say he could.
obviously down the middle as well. So well, he's someone's going to buy him if they get relegated, 100%. Even if they
I
stay
think
up,
so.
I could see him going. Aside from that, I
Yeah.
mean, John McGinn is a quality player, but it's whether we need him at the moment. I'm not sure if we do. He wouldn't. He definitely wouldn't be a first choice player for us. I don't think. But
No, and would he want to do that? I mean, he might. Maybe he does,
yeah, I
but
don't think someone coming from Villa who's potentially getting relegated would complain too much about being like first choice on the bench or something for Arsenal. I feel like he could warm to that
true,
idea. But
true,
yeah,
true, true. There's big bucks as well, knowing us.
I'm looking forward
Anyway,
to at least doing some in-depth look at the squad. I know there was talk today that Ceballos might be coming for a second year of the loan, which obviously, I mean, his stats have been outrageous since
yeah,
the lockdown. I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been a Sky Sports thing, but he was literally first for like tackles, passes, key chances created, interceptions for our team. He's been a beast.
looking at that, I actually wasn't that surprised because he stood out in every game we've played,
Mm.
whether it's being forward up the field or further back in midfield or even in our own penalty box. He's been putting in challenges, clearances, headers, these amazing balls across the pitch.
I'm just
Been creating
surprised. Like
chances. It's
I know
just
he had those like couple of good games, but where's that been?
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe it's just the system, the way the team has sort of clicked. I feel like there's something more than just the ability. I think Arteta's somehow managed to motivate these players. And it's not just Arteta. You look at players like David Luiz, who we've slated, and everyone is slated, but you
yeah.
see
I
him on
don't
the
think
pitch, the way
anyone
he
can
talks
say
to
that.
the way he talks to other players on the pitch. You see him talking to Ainsley Maitland-Niles, for example, on quite a regular basis before, during the game. Anytime there's any sort of break in play, he goes to the side to speak to Arteta, and he comes back onto the pitch. And I
Mm.
think you have now these influential figures in the dressing room who are. I see it. I'm starting to see some sort of positive mentality, a change in the mentality,
Oh, definitely.
especially with Arteta. Has brought in some. I can't describe it. He's done wonders with the players he has.
Well, there is just some like cohesion there with the players, without a doubt. And yeah, I know. I don't think there's anyone that can turn around and say that they were sort of rolling their eyes a little bit at the new contract for David Luiz. But I think even at the time, I was thinking. I think we did mention it in the last episode that
Yes, we did. We did.
we can't get rid of all our experience, and if you're gonna keep one of them, that guy has won almost everything. Obviously, the World Cup didn't end too well, but in terms of club
True.
football, he has absolutely smashed it in his career. So I don't think you'd be able to choose any of the other ones
No, no,
over him.
I totally agree. That there isn't. Unfortunately, I want to say unfortunately, I don't think there is. I'm going to take out the players like Holding and Chambers, but other than that, out of Socrates, Mustafi, and Louise, he is the most decorated centre back
Mm.
at the club, regardless. Yeah, he's the best centre back and the most decorated centre back. That's not saying much given how bad our defence is. Still, uh,
Yeah, I mean, but even so, like the last few weeks have really shown something different. I know. I guess this is a good time to move on to it. It didn't it was unfortunate against Leicester, but we did still defend very well in that game. We just couldn't last with the 10 men situation. We were so much the better team in that game, in the first
That
half especially.
that was a hard one to take. It felt like a loss
Yeah,
at the
no, it
time.
really did.
I don't want to say I was upset, but I was very disappointed because we were in control. We were the better team. We had the better chances. Some of our play was fantastic, just
Mm.
absolutely beautiful, and
And
it was just it was like a sucker punch
even going
in
into
the
that,
end.
the out of nowhere, the top four suddenly like had
It did it.
started to become on paper again, and then yeah, that very
Yeah.
quickly evaporated. But I don't think there's any point really going over the Nketiah situation. I think
No.
that's a very much down
No.
to opinion situation. The only thing that really frustrated me was the fact that Trent did something potentially even worse to Saka, and it didn't even get looked into. I don't really understand. I would like VAR to be a thing and done well, but yeah, right now it's still not there.
No, no. I mean, I think what was worse, what for me, what was the worst thing about the situation wasn't what happened in the moment. I know we said we weren't going to go into it, but I'll just quickly,
Yeah,
quickly say what's in my head. It was more other similar challenges that you'd seen, not just in that game, but in games in that game week, in games in the following game week, where players were doing similar things sometimes not even looked at, like the Trent example you just spoke about. I think it was the same. I think it was the day after that. There was a Burnley game. One of their players did the exact same thing, if not worse,
I just don't get it.
someone else, and it wasn't even looked at. It was inconsistency. If we're talking about VAR, I like the idea, like you said, but it needs to be controlled and implemented properly. There's issues,
But that's the
like I
thing, that the
mentioned.
whole idea of it was to remove the well, opinions and views of the specific referee from these
Yeah,
decisions, and then to catch
yeah.
things they need to catch. And it's just not doing either of those at the moment, really.
No, I mean you can't be when they're showing the replays on TV. You can see what the officials are looking at in the studio, VAR studio, and they're showing it on repeat from different angles. And then the referee has a look at the monitor for like 2 seconds. He sees one angle and makes a decision like that.
Mm. Well, it's just
Where
even
this
goes down
what?
to the fact it's like I just, yeah, I don't really understand what they're looking at, because I would have no problem if Nketiah had gone and then like the three other players we've mentioned also got sent off. That is totally fine if that's the way the rules are going and you're doing it that way. That's great, but yeah, no, it's still a bit shambolic at the moment. But I don't know if you saw that Wenger and his team have sent out a letter from FIFA saying that they're now controlling all VAR rules like globally. It's like he was not happy with the decision, obviously.
He's done it again.
Yeah, that man.
Oh,
So, well, it went from one disappointment to another one, really. The
oh, that was the worst.
Yeah,
God.
we were so much the better team in that game. We didn't create enough in the final third. That was my one annoyance with it.
No, I mean
But
it was
it
a
was
typical Mourinho performance in the
I
end.
was
If you're
so
talking
smash and
against
grab.
us, yeah,
I'm not even having a go at Spurs here. I'm more like feeling for them because I don't know how they can handle this Mourinho football compared to what they had with Poch. It's just shit football.
yeah. I mean every single Spurs fan I've spoken to, even after the game, like a couple of my mates that are Spurs fans, I was talking to them, and they were just like, they were like, we want to rip into you, but just having Mourinho as a manager is just not. It's just not the same. The feeling, the sort of the vibes, the joy, the hope. It's dead.
He's just a bit dirty, really, isn't it? Like when they had Poch, I don't think there was any Arsenal fan, unless some really thick ones, that didn't at least very much respect him and kind of wish we had a manager who was as sort of enigmatic and exciting as he was at the time.
Yeah.
And I know it didn't
No.
work out for him for whatever reasons, but he still did a lot for that club, and they're so dreadful to watch.
Yeah. That's, again, what do you expect from a Mourinho team?
Bring
I'm
bring
so happy he's not our
bring
manager.
bring Poch back. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking maybe we should join the dark side back in the day when Emery was still at the club.
That's how
But
bad it was.
yeah,
That's how
but
bad it was. Some
but
people contemplated that. Just
but
imagine
yeah,
that.
thank Christ,
Oh,
thank Christ. Although I would have
clear
preferred
heads.
Ancelotti just before I get like murdered, even though no one listens to this. But but yeah,
uh,
that was a bad one. But I guess leading it into these like few games, Lacazette really changed, didn't he? There's
man, I think
I was
he
I
should.
was the guy saying, "Oh, maybe we should sell him." But yeah.
He's. I don't know. He's just brought. He's shown everything he's great at. I mean, he scored some banging goals. Absolutely
Mm,
amazing
that was a
goals.
fucking rocket as well. It's so disappointing that yeah, obviously it didn't
Yeah, I know
push on to
that was so
something more.
that how hyped I was in that moment,
But he's
and
just
then
back
just
to what he was doing last season, isn't he?
yeah, he's getting that confidence. That confidence is back. We spoke about him being a confidence player. His confidence is back. The
Mm.
team's confidence is back. You can see, if we're playing in our own penalty box against Man City, and we're passing the ball out. You can see the composure and calmness in the
Yeah,
players, and
I
that
didn't even
exudes
feel
through
bad about
everyone.
that. In that game, I did not feel bad about the passing around the back. When normally
Because
I'd
it
be
was
sitting
working.
on the edge of my seat and I'd be like, no, get rid.
Because it was working. There was only one dodgy moment very very early on when Mustafi was on the ball. I know. Well, I'm sure we're gonna get to the game, but
Mm.
aside from that, we were just so confident. And like I said, that kind of flows through players from front to back. You have Martinez at the back, who's just, oh,
There's something
oh
going
my
on there,
goodness.
man. I think Leno's kind of
Oh,
screwed.
oh, yeah. I think it's gonna be hard for him to come. He's gonna be the cup keeper when he comes back.
I'll just shoot this stat page over to you that I saw that I'll put up on the screen now for everyone else. But it's starting not to look good for Leno at this stage. I mean, it's a brilliant position for us to be in, but
Yeah.
I know obviously, yeah, Martinez
Oh,
hasn't done it for that many games, but ever since he's come in, just due to the fact that I think they're very even in terms of how they are as a pure goalkeeper, but his distribution even is so much better than Leno's. It's
one.
outrageous.
No, it is. It is. And one thing I see from him, which I think is something which I feel like I haven't seen in a long time from an Arsenal goalkeeper, is his ability to just hold on to the ball when he saves it.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen him parry the ball many times. I mean, it's happened a few times. I'm not talking about when he tips it over the bar or the post. I'm not talking about that. I just mean like any other regular shot. He's just latched onto it. It's
but
like he's got like glue in his gloves or something.
where has this come from though?
10 years at Arsenal,
Yeah,
being an underling to
he
like
used to be
Emmanuel Almunia.
he used to be catastrophically bad though.
Yeah, but everyone was catastrophically bad. So
But it's like even when he had been doing cup goalie stuff, he'd been decent. But since he's come in this lockdown, and I guess he's clicked in his mind that Leno's going to be injured for a few weeks, he's just like taken his opportunity better than I've seen from a lot of players in that similar
look,
position.
let me put it this way. I know people often use this analogy from like a negative point of view, but I'm going to use it in a positive way. When it rains, it pours. He's got his chance. It's gone well for him, and it just keeps going well. Touch wood that carries on for our sake, but
He seems to do a lot more
it's
sort of organisation and talking to his players in the defence as well, which I think Leno is a bit quiet.
yeah, just yeah. In comparison,
I don't really want to put them up against each other too much because I
no.
love both of them. It's been a miracle that Martinez has come in and done that well, but
Best 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 goalkeeping duo in the league, hands down.
it's getting that way, man. Because well, the only other one you'd say is United, but now De Gea is shit.
Nah,
So,
nah, no,
but that's
not
what
anymore.
you would have said that Romero or whatever he was the best second goalie, but that's up for debate now, and they're fighting against each other for the Argentina keeping spot, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Martinez.
He's outrageous. What are we gonna do next
Wow.
season?
Tough. Mate, at the rate it's going, I feel like you have to start Martinez as the
Yeah,
first team keeper. Now you can't. What he's not done anything wrong. You can't take it away
no.
from him. You just can't unless he does some
Neither did
diabolical
Leno.
things in the next few
Like
games.
Leno, all Arsenal fans were arguing he's been the best goalkeeper in the Prem this year, and now he's not even as good as our own second choice. I don't know, man. It's nuts.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I don't want to question when good things happen to us.
but the only bad thing is that whichever one does get picked, the other one's going to want to leave.
Yeah,
Then neither of them are going to hang around now.
yeah,
Martinez's
that's the thing.
value has just like tripled in about a week.
Maybe we can get some good money and do a Liverpool or like do what Chelsea are doing with
I
their
hope you don't.
Hazard money
Yeah,
sort of situation.
I hope you don't
If it
mean.
comes to it.
I hope you don't mean sign Karius.
No.
Although he has been doing really well in Turkey this season.
Well done to him.
Yeah, that's enough of talking
Mesut
about
Ozil would do
Karius.
good in Turkey.
Yeah, no, ship
Uh,
him off, Besiktas or whatever it is. Come on, did you hear about that thing
I
that they
heard
were
he
doing?
rejected them.
Really?
Oh God. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that they were doing like an SMS like charity drive to try and earn extra funds to pay for his transfer.
Yeah.
But now
That's
where's
oh
that
God.
money going? Off to some like Turkish oligarch dude.
Probably.
Anyway, I don't want
No
to
one's
talk
getting
about
that back.
Ozil, mate. I
No.
think he's on the way out, and I'm sick of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, now we're getting to the big crescendo of the episode, I guess. The first one was a real hard fought backs to the wall performance against Liverpool. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, there's a few things, right? I know. Okay, look, it was good. It was a good result and a good game for us. We took advantage of two big mistakes, which is probably once in a lifetime sort of opportunity in that situation. How often do you get the two best and two most expensive players in their team making mistakes like that? But
Mm.
we capitalized on that. You can't knock them because they still had to do
Hey,
something.
I've got to hold you up 1 second there. We've made Virgil van Dijk look bad in both games that we've played Liverpool this season. And
Oof, that's true. That's true.
don't forget
That
the
is very
Pepe
true.
turn, man. Don't forget
Oof.
it.
First player to dribble past him in like 70 games or something. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
And now it's Reece Nelson. Nah, Virgil van Dijk makes sell him. He's terrible. I did see some Liverpool fan on BBC News saying that he was a complete fraud and he should be sold. I was like, oh my god, you've just won the Premier League and he's been the key part of that.
And people call us reactionary.
Yeah, well. Anyway,
So
continue.
yeah, I mean, even for both goals, even after they made the mistakes, I mean, our players still had to make something out of it. It's not, it was in that moment. Neither Nelson nor Lacazette had a big hand in both goals. Obviously,
Mm,
scoring one and assisting the second one. But it was just a calmness, and I was impressed. I was impressed by Nelson. I thought he had I don't want to say dodgy start, but quite a slow start to the game. But he grew into it after scoring the goal later on. He just kept on going, and that's the kind of performance I want to see from him, and as a team as a whole, because we defended like madmen after that. Oof.
I just think, yeah, it just made all the difference going into the Sunday game that we knew that we could do it.
I was still fearing the worst. I was still
Oh,
fearing the worst going into
yeah,
the game after that.
I'm talking
I
about the
was,
players. I had no hope at all.
but yeah.
It
It
was,
was it, wa- it was an unbelievable result, the Liverpool game.
hmm.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting.
I don't.
I know people are going to use the excuse that they were on holiday, they had nothing to
That's the
play
thing.
for, but they're the
They
champions.
weren't. Well, they were trying. It's just their sort of creativity in the final ball wasn't really there for them. But we dealt with everything they threw at us, and they did have opportunities where they could have scored.
No, it's not like they played badly. They just didn't play as good as
Yeah, I
they
mean
can.
that's not our problem at the end of the day. You can only beat what's out in front of you, and in this case, it is well potentially the best team in the world, and we still did it, regardless of
Yep.
how well they played or not. Not our problem.
Nope. You have to beat who's in front of you. So,
But yeah, that
and we did.
leads us into the big one. I don't, I don't know about you, but for the entire evening after this game, I mean, despite being quite drunk, but I mean that's not really where I'm going with this. But I was just in a state of shock. I couldn't believe what I had actually witnessed.
Mate, I was in the same situation. I went out to meet my friends, and I was with them in the pub all day, and then I was watching the game, And I was like, my friends were messaging me saying, "This isn't real life. You're passed out in the pub."
It's probably true, man.
Yeah, I was,
Are we both in a coma or something? Like,
yeah. Is this some
it
sort of
wasn't
like?
supposed to happen.
It was. If look, if the Liverpool game was luck, this game smashed that out of the park. It
Oh
was a
yeah,
masterclass from the manager, from every single player on the pitch. 10 out
yeah.
of 10 for everyone. I don't care. 10 out of 10 for everyone.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
just
honestly,
was.
there's nobody that you could pick out and be like, nah, he was actually a bit shit, but everyone else did well. Like everyone to a man turned up in that game, which is not very normal for us. Which is why we could do so much better if we just turned up, because we do have players with ability. But maybe
We,
Arteta's actually getting into them. I don't know, but yeah, looking at the lineups, I mean, it was a pretty expected team from us, wasn't it?
except for Maitland Niles on left wing back was a
Yes,
bit
but
of a
this is
whoa.
what we were even saying before this, and what I've been trying to say for like the last year is that Kolasinac, she's shite.
Yeah, he's shocking.
And
I
thank
can't deal
God
with
that
him anymore.
Arteta has seen it, and he's like, "Yeah, Tierney, you can play anywhere. You're a bloody legend. Go at left centre back," and he's been playing
Yeah.
just as well there.
Hey, look. Also, I want to give a shout out to Hector Bellerin. And I know you're not his biggest fan, but he's impressed me.
But I
I'm
know,
just really happy.
like
I don't care if it was because of
offline about what
competition.
I was saying about. Recognise that it's happening, but it's only now that he's got potentially two players that are fighting for his spot, and he's got a bit of competition that it seems like that's actually made him think, oh shit, I can't just sit around and look at like Fashion Week magazines all day. I need to actually start playing football again. And
Yeah,
he has been really, really good again. I still get very frustrated with his sort of final ball and what he's doing in the attack, because he could be so, like, he could be like Trent level if he actually delivered like
yeah.
the good enough crosses into the box. But yeah, I can't deny that he has been a lot better in the last sort of
I,
4 games.
Against Spurs, I thought he was one of our best players. Like he
Mm.
was running past people and actually sending very good balls into the box. It was literally the opposite of every criticism we had of his leading up to that game. You could even say. Uh, but yeah, look, if it takes competition to spur players on, I'll take that.
I think
It's
that's
happening in
been
multiple positions in our squad,
a key
and I'm happy
issue
with that.
even towards the end of the Wenger era, is that Wenger just played the same team every bloody week, and they all just knew they could just get in, and like that was the Mesut Ozil problem. He's the perfect
Yeah,
example. Even Shaka, now that he knows that he's got to fight for his position, and Arteta's given him that second chance and convinced him that he can have a continued career at Arsenal, he has been so good since the end of lockdown. He really
we
has.
just we just don't look the same without him, and
No.
yeah. I guess if going back to your Arteta point, yeah, I mean Arsene Wenger played players that he wanted and he liked, regardless of form. Sometimes, regardless of, I mean, there was no tactical flexibility. Arsene Wenger was just told his players to go onto the pitch and express themselves, which is admirable in its own way. But Arteta, he's no nonsense. If someone's messing around in training, not trying hard enough, you're not in the team. Look at
Mm.
what's happened to Guendouzi after the Brighton game, and hearing stuff about his attitude. There's Arteta doesn't seem to take shit, and he will pick players based on recent merit. If they've played well, he's gonna play you. As
That
simple as.
that is the thing though. Like when he came in with his initial interviews, it sounded very much like, I'm not going to compare him to Josh Kroenke, but it was like he was saying all the right stuff that you wanted to hear from a new manager coming in. But the fact he's actually delivering it and being quite cutthroat in certain situations is what we've been missing at this club. And that was the one thing that I was most worried about when Arteta came in, that he might be another yes man for the board, but he clearly isn't, and he has not taken any
No,
prisoners.
no. What did he say? Was it after the City or Liverpool game where they asked him if he'd have money, and he was like, "I don't know. He's like, I just
Yeah,
don't know." Not as
like
dramatic as that, but it's literally what he said. Is like, are the board gonna back you? Or are you gonna have fun suspenders? I don't know.
it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I mean,
Ooh,
he if he does this well and they still give him no money, he'll just go somewhere else.
yeah,
He'll
yeah. No,
prove
it's a
he's
discussion.
already starting to prove his worth and convince most people that he is as good as. all the pep talk and everyone was saying back in the day before we got him. And
Yeah, it was a conversation I was having. It's exactly the same thing. Is he's already proving his worth. If we don't back him, he's not going to be around for long.
yeah, but then it leads into a lot. There's a lot more conversation than just how much money we'll have. There's still the ongoing situation with Aubameyang. What are we gonna do, man? Like, what happens if he does go? It doesn't. The whole thing's over. We might as well give up.
Yeah. So is he just waiting till the end of the season to see if we're getting to Europe, or is it just a foregone conclusion that he's not going to sign? Arteta keeps saying he hopes it ends up happening and he thinks it will, but that doesn't mean anything, does it?
I know there's that whole theory that he's been pictured in the new kit and it's all going to be released on that day, which is a nice like pipe dream. But I can't see the PR department for Arsenal thinking that that's a good idea and a good way to like stay on side with the fans if they already know it would leak. Surely,
Yeah, yeah, you think so by now. I
Ornstein would
just
be all over that.
yeah, yeah.
But it's a slightly worrying affair because
Yeah, it's
I
get
know the team was phenomenal on Saturday, but without him, we still would have done it, and we're not going to be able to replace him with the current like situation we're in monetarily,
no,
even.
no, we won't. It's a difficult one. It's only three three games of the season left for us now. These two league games and the final, and I was thinking when we were talking a few weeks ago when we started doing this podcast that there'll be some sort of conclusion by this point, but there's no further news, no there's no developments on it, which is worrying.
Mm.
It's starting to lean towards the some of our historical issues and worries, uh, like Ramsey, for example,
I
and
mean,
players like
that
that.
is true, but then even since we did our last episode, we did get that Saka deal done, and
True, and Martinelli to
yeah,
bring that up too.
I know they're easier to do than one that's probably going to run into the like 250s or something like that, but
Hmm.
I can't see if we. I guess are we waiting just to see if we can fucking get rid of Ozil? Is that all it is? Because that I mean that would free up a little bit of cash.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's all
maybe,
down to
maybe.
Sinelli because I think Sinelli out of all the people on the board is still the one that I don't think anyone's convinced with.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say it's still early days, but I think this is make or break for him. This summer
I'm
with this Oba deal and any other incomings and outgoings.
100%. I mean, I like the way that now we are willing to talk to some of the dodgy dealers, but I don't like the sound of the fact that he will only go to like his agents who are his mates and then just say, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, what you got for us?" It's like that is not a good situation or a good way to do your transfers.
Nah, it
Even
feels
though,
a bit backhanded, doesn't it?
yeah, I was scared about the Willian thing, but arguably he's been potentially Chelsea's best attacker this season.
Oh
So
God.
he probably could have walked into our team. But I still think he's too old.
It doesn't add anything. I mean, he might be a better player than some players in our position. But some would argue that's all you need. But in the grander scheme of things, we really want someone on the wrong side of 30 on high wages again.
Probably not.
I don't
Well,
think so.
I mean, it was being rumored of being like 180, 200k, and he is gonna tail off. It's just not worth it.
No.
But I guess yeah, we've had well, and we're having a nice end to the season. I think you can put it that way. Who knows what's going to be happening in the final? I think we can discuss that after these next two Prem games are done. But
Yeah.
how do you think? Yeah, we got Villa tonight, and we've got Watford at the weekend. Do you think it's just
Sunday. Yeah.
another two easy wins, or do you think we're going to have a bit of trouble in both of them?
I think today is definitely going to be the more difficult one out of the two. Like I said, Villa have all to play for. Literally, if we beat them and other results go against them, they will get relegated today
Mm.
or at least tomorrow. I don't know. I'm sure this round of games they'll be relegated. Is my point. If they don't win, they could do. And I can see Arteta resting a few players purely because of how draining the last two games must have been. I mean, we were chasing the ball in both of those games for quite a while, defending for our lives. I think
Yeah, I don't know
every
how,
single player's going to be
considering
knackered.
most of the players played in both games,
Yeah,
including Liverpool ones, I don't even know how they managed to get through it, to be honest.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
I think it's
It's
pretty
like
impressive.
yeah, it was. I can see us resting players. I don't know. I don't know who's going to come in. I feel like
I think Rob
do we
Holding
even that?
probably should
Yeah, yeah.
just
He's the
start.
obvious one, and
Um,
I I can
Terrell
see
maybe.
maybe yeah, Torre for Shaka or Ceballos, and I can see Saka coming back in at left wing back. I'm,
Socrates
I'm
maybe.
yeah. It's what Socrates holding in. I want to say Tierney, but I have a
I
funny
think
feeling
David
it could be
Luiz.
It's
I think Tierney does need a break, otherwise he's going to implode again, and I don't want him out for another 6 months.
I think he's gonna put Kolasinac back there then.
No, no, I can't deal with that.
Yes, I feel like that's what would be the obvious choice to Mikel Arteta and his preference for left-sided players in left-sided positions.
But he knows that he's a fraud.
Yeah,
He's
but it's one
figured
of
it
those
out.
games. It's one of those games where I don't want to say we can afford to lose it because you don't want to say that about any game. But what's more important to him at the moment probably be resting his best
That's
players.
definitely true, but I think there'd be nothing more important than winning the next two games. I think that's so important for giving us the
Yeah,
best opportunity for the final.
yeah, no, I would agree. You
I
want you
don't
want the
want, I
momentum.
don't want to flop against Watford and then it'll be like, oh yeah, we'll bounce back for the final, because that's, I think, exactly what we hoped for bloody Baku, and look how that turned out.
Uh,
We need to get revenge for that in this final, man. But we'll talk
well,
about that in the next episode. We could, yeah,
yeah, cause yeah, okay.
we can do a bit of a build up for the old, yeah, FA Cup. I look forward to that. I love an FA Cup final. I know it's like, oh, it's dead. The cup's over. No one cares about it anymore. But I just don't see that as being the truth.
No, people don't care about it when they're not in the final. Simple as.
Yeah.
That's how it is. You ask Chelsea fans at the moment, they'll be like, "Yeah, it's big. It's big because it is. When you're in the final, it's the last game of the domestic season. It's a big thing."
I think the only thing I will say is that I was actually, I know everyone, well, I mean, talking about United's form, I still thought that was only because they played crap teams. But I was actually hoping for the United final, because it's just a classic game and we haven't had silverware to fight over for in a long, long time.
The last time I can remember us playing them in a final was the FA Cup
Yeah,
final in
that was
2005, right?
Vieira's last game, yeah. That's literally how long it's been.
I
So
don't
I
think
think that
we
would have
just
been
have.
nice.
Yeah, it would have been a bit different. We've played Chelsea a few, two finals in recent memory. Very recent memory. I mean, I
Mm.
don't mean going back further, but obviously the last season and the FA Cup finals 2017.
But yeah, plenty to look
Uh,
forward to, which is nice for the end of the season. Because, well, considering we've had three managers and the worst season of our lifetimes,
oh yeah,
it's potentially, even if things
could
don't
end on
go
a
well,
positive note.
yeah, it could end on a high.
It would still be unbelievable. I'm not saying an unbelievable season. It definitely won't be that, but it'll be unbelievable if we manage to take a cup, the
Oh
FA Cup,
yeah,
our
no,
cup,
it's
our
absolutely,
cup.
absolutely stupid. Yeah, the Emirates Cup. Yeah,
Yeah, it might as well be the
thank you.
Emirates Cup.
It is.
And
It is called the Emirates FA Cup.
oh yeah, I mean yeah, true.
It's ours, man.
Wembley, which is our second home, it seems
Yeah,
as
true.
well. So
Yeah, all to play for. But yeah, thanks for joining me for, well, the episode that should have happened a long, long time ago. But yeah, it's been good, and we'll definitely get another one probably up after the Watford game, or maybe on the Monday to look forward to the final.
good.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, thanks for joining me, and yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you later.
That's one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.